Good day, folks. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Today we have with us Naila Qazi, came to Canada 2010 in the change management professional, has been navigating a journey with multiple organizations and then basically started her own venture in this space. So we'll get to know a little bit about her professional journey and her entrepreneurial journey as well. So with that being said, Naila, can you tell us a little bit about yourself first as to how you landed as to where you are right now, and then we will delve into some of the other questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to have my journey and my message to be out there. So we came into Canada, as you said, in 2010. But prior to that, I was in Australia. I came as a student life, studied at Melbourne University. Then I did my MBA from Macquarie University in Sydney. And during this time, I got married, have two kids, ran a few businesses. And our family is all in North America. So you could say it was more familiar, like in-laws attracted me towards Canada. So I came here. But throughout this time, I have been educating myself, number one. And number two, I never stopped working. So I think those two things are essential because lots of women think once they get married, and that's end of their journey. But I think my journey started post-married and all my education post kids. And I think that's the message I would like to convey. If anything, we have to walk away from today's conversation.
That is amazing because that, like you said, a lot of people walk away from their careers after situations change. But I think you've navigated it quite nicely. But so tell us a little bit about how you came into change management, specifically like after you did your MBA, did you pursue a certification? And for all of those people who are actually planning to pursue this, let's talk about that, and then we'll come into your day-to-day life.
Yeah, as you just said that, I launched my own consulting practice, Center for Change and Leadership, CCL Canada. But the purpose is not to do that sales pitch here. The purpose is that how do you navigate? How do you really see what else is futuristic? My initial degree was, and even before that, let me share a little bit about my background. I came from a very rural background, I would say rather disadvantaged background. And in those days, and unfortunately, in Pakistan, still in rural, girls still want to be either teacher or a doctor. So those two things, and teacher I did not like, doctor I couldn't get on the merit, and whatever I did, I did it 3 times my marks, and that was not my orientation. So in another words, you could say that I really have no directions. And when I migrated to Australia, I wanted to pursue a career, but had no idea, no guidance, no advice. So the easy thing for me was to take admission in postgrad, and then I did masters in education and leadership. And that's where I think I realized that my very strong inclination is towards leadership, like school leadership. So from very early on, I moved out of the classroom kind of curriculum teacher to really dealing with, they used to have like school counselors, school advisors. And that's how my career started. I went into the corporate sector as a leadership consultant. Then I became leadership lead. And there was a stage in my life when I was running global leadership development programs, both for corporate and for the public sector. And when I moved to Canada, I think I was hired by OPS, Ontario Public Service, again within the leadership, but also managing change when the leaders were changing. And that's where I realized that change could be very futuristic because everything is changing. We change continents, my life change. I have two kids, the personal change, career change, and all those things. So then I went in and did some qualification in change. And I was, I know I told this story and someone said, we're not impressed because there was no barrier in your way and it looked like smooth sailing. It was never a smooth sailing. And there's no need to really talk about, there is no need to talk about all those barriers and all those things which came into your way. But I think rather cascading the message that in the interim, I was raising two kids, sports, they play piano and whatnot. And I was in the morning, I was swimming mother, and in in the afternoon I was soccer mom, and then my husband has this strange habit of always eating at home. Uh, so you could imagine my life, but I never gave up on career and never gave up what is next. So change logically looked next, and I really grabbed that opportunity. It's the same thing as a lot of people are jumping into AI, and I think they're doing very smart thing that this is the next kind of change, and we should all be open-minded and taking advantage of that. And coming back to my CCL Canada, so it took us 2 years to get certified from Standard Council of Canada, an international accreditation firm. So that means if you get and come certification of change from us, we have a 3 to 2 day courses which are globally recognized. You can find jobs anywhere as change manager, change specialist, change coordinators, both in technology, process, culture, structure change. So I'm very, very proud that we have passed 2 cohorts. And if anyone um, of the listeners or kind of people who are interested, they can reach out to me or look at our website.
Right. So I think you mentioned that the whole transition into the change management space came about from your MBA and then from your leadership positions, and that's how you. But
Yeah.
for somebody, so you took a rather different route. But somebody, if they're rising up the ranks, so to speak, in an organization, how does the certification that that your organization helps them do advance their career? Like, how do they
Yeah.
navigate through that?
So
Like, if somebody came out from a bachelor's today from university and you told them, okay, you know what, change management is a good career to pursue, how would you go about it?
yeah, so two kind of uh, I think a target audience you just mentioned here, Sat. Like one is if someone came out bachelor fresh from university and they want to pursue this career, I would say like 200%, even to my own kids. They came to my classes and did that, although they are engineers and finance already doing jobs, but they're very impressed with the fact that every day there is talk about change in their organizations. So I would say people who are coming new, fresh grads, it's a very good career. So it's very good for them as well. And whereas the mid-career people, as you, they're already on within the organization, they already have a job, but they want to broaden their skill set. These days they're not much. The job market, how we keep on hearing, is not good, and you really need to multi-skill yourself. I think adding change management is like adding PMP to your existing credentials, or adding ITIL or Scrum or any of those credentials. It helps both kind of audience.
Perfect, perfect. One last question for you, Naila. That is, I think you've already partially addressed that, but I'll make it more generic towards the new migrants because we try to help and focus on the new migrants. For those who are, you talked about the whole bachelors and the ones who are just moving in from university, but for those who are moving to Canada, what would your advice be to them in a generic way and also with specific to the change management space as well?
Yeah, very good question. I also spend a lot of time voluntarily to support our people, and I think that's the best thing which we could do, especially women who come with lots of education. But I'm not only kind of women focused. I mean, women because uh, they have kids as well, right? So it's not only they are managing this transition, but their kids, their husband, and families. Um, Two things: if they are fresh and they're looking for job, I would say change is a very good route to go. I would highly, highly encourage them. And within change, there are many areas which they can specialize. They can transition their skills, which they are bringing from home banking industry. They're coming from customer service industry. Like lots of people are highly educated, IT sector, for example. And I think my past 10 years, if you look at my LinkedIn, I always have reported to an IT VP or IT kind of department has been my main forte to play there. So lots of change specialists are hired there. And we're not talking about IT change, we're talking about organizational change. So there is IT change, there is organizational change. So coming back to your question, people who are fresh coming to this country, open your kind of horizons, look into change practitioner courses, change professional courses. We provided the many other providers as well. And I'll be really available through you to really give people advice, maybe do a session on that. And the other piece is once they come into the job, and then how to really open up different doors, then they can find a niche where they think that they can play their roles really, really well. In terms of what is advice to even find a job, so we becoming very picky right here that, okay, let's do change job and change management. The first step is like finding a job, right? A job, any job, whatever you find. I did the same. I came here. I was not paid at that level as in Australia, but I really found whatever job ministry was paying to me in the change and leadership area. But within a couple of months, they realized that I'm very senior, and I went back to exactly where I should be paid. So I would two or three things. Number one, we like it or not, this is a social media kind of world we living. So I would first say have your presence in socials. So Facebook is very personal. WhatsApp is very personal, and people are used to those two technologies. But here in Canada, especially in Canadian market, I'm not talking about the US, is very big on LinkedIn. So have your presence on LinkedIn as much as you post every day, repost things, have nice picture, nice shots. People generally have flower there or their favorite cat, and people want to deal with you. So even if, say for women, if they wear hijab or even they cover their face, there's no harm in that. The guys, if they wear dadi or whatever their personal values are, that's fine. But so far you are original and you put yourself out there. It's very, very important to be vulnerable and having out there. So have your social presence. The other two things is personal networking. It's very, very important. Coming to networking events, meeting with people like you, lots of groups meet. And the third one would be educate yourself. Like, I think the journey of education, our prophet said that as well, that it never ends. And they come here, and we very, very fortunate to be here. There are some free courses as well. Lots of institutions offer guiding, mentoring services, but educate. So whatever area you want to go, have some fresh credentials on your LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Naila, for this great advice that and sparing the time out on a fine day here. And we hope that if there are folks out there who want to reach out to Naila, we can help you connect with her. Thank you so much, Naila.
Thank you so much.